Hey there S3 Fanatics, it's Peter, your Audi S3 Fanatic. So today's project, we are going to go ahead and retrofit into your S3 the puddle and the emergency lights into your door panels. Now you're going to need some very crucial items for this project. First and foremost, you're going to need the door emergency lights as well as the puddle lights, and you can get those directly from eBay. Now I could not find a local shop in the US that sells these, so I had to order these from China. I had made a video earlier that showed me receiving them, and they're actually pretty good quality. The other item that you're going to need is a Vagcom cable, because your vehicle, unless it came installed with these lights, is going to be disabled in your car's computer system, so you will need the Vagcom cable to turn these on. Installation itself is not going to be too difficult. It's going to be comprised of removing your 4 door panels and accessing the connection that connects the lighting to the main car's lighting system. You will have to Vagcom it, and I will show you guys what cables to connect into or tap into. The other thing about the project, the front doors are going to be pretty easy in terms of coating. The rear doors are a little more complicated because, at least for my S3, I did not have the modules activated in Vagcom, so I had to enable those, and on top of that I had to activate the doors in Vagcom. So it's kind of a two-step process. I've been able to successfully do it, and I will show you guys how to do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this project. Alright, so for this portion, we're going to go ahead and remove the door panel. I've cheated a little bit here, and if you guys have watched my prior videos, it's actually a pretty simple process. For the first part, you want to go ahead and remove this speaker grille that sits right in here. I do highly recommend that you guys get a little plastic prying tool to get underneath here, remove the grille, and from there you're going to have 3 bolts to take off. You've got one here, and one here. Now, just for sake of time, I went ahead and removed this. So once the 3 bolts are removed, you're going to go ahead and use the same prying tool to get underneath to pop the door panel off of its clips. Now, once you have the door panel popped off of its clips, you'll be able to have it turn, or at least rest on its hinge here. Now from here, you'll go ahead and push the door panel up. There's going to be a latch back here that connects to a little horse-shaped connection. You want to disconnect it, and finally you're going to disconnect the cable that attaches the door panel to the connection to the chassis itself. So again, I've cheated. I went ahead and took everything apart so the door panel pulls off easily. Now I'll go ahead and show you that little door clip or horseshoe unit right here, and then here is the control module itself that this connection actually connects to it right there. Alright, so the connecting unit or module that goes to the car is this specific piece here. Now I have done the pre-existing wire, but I'll show you guys what you need to do. The best way to do this is to try to keep an OEM integration into this unit here. Now, without knowing the wires here, you do have to open this up here. When I first pulled off this from the car, it was surrounded or wrapped over here. What I did was I just pushed this unit back, which allows me to take the blue clip off of this base here. Now the way to do it is, if you take a look here, you're going to see a little slot. You want to take a small flat head screwdriver, just place it in here to kind of open it up, and then you should be able to pop this unit up here and dislodge it from the base. And then as you can tell, it'll open up here just like such, and then you're able to access the pins here. Now as you guys can tell, I've already wired it, but I'll show you what you need to do. I've got two wires that are coming from my LED. You've got power, which is red from my LED, black from the LED, which is ground. Now once again, the detail on these is you've got two rows. The very top one is going to be pin 1. The very bottom left is going to be 16. Over to the second column, you're going to have 17, and the very top is going to be 32. You want to access pin 16, which is the very bottom unit. If I turn it over, you'll see how I went ahead and took the LED end and put it into 16. Now if you look real carefully, I have the black ground that is pushed in to pin number 5. Again, that's all that you do. This is the best way to make an OEM integration. Now, once you have that completed, what I'd recommend that you do is just simply zip tie this together so it stays nice and neat. What I'll go ahead and do now is I'm going to push this back in so you guys can see. And it just pushes right in, just like such. Now that I have this connected, and I apologize, I went ahead and kind of did this backwards for you guys. What you really need to do is you need to wire your LED first, and here is the, over here you've got the emergency light. I went ahead and connected it, and from here all I did was just run the wires through here. I went ahead and installed the Oznium 11mm LED right in here by just drilling a hole. Went ahead and ran the lighting or the wiring underneath up to this connection here for a nice OEM look, just in case you ever pull the door panel off. This whole clip comes off and you don't have to worry about the lights going everywhere. So that is pretty much it to the installation of the emergency light as well as the puddle light. Install it here, here, run your wiring through here and into the OEM connection. Now I'll go ahead and put the door panel back onto the door. Before you put the door panel completely back on and locking it in, you want to go ahead and code the car to turn these lights on. By default, it's turned off under Vagcom, so you want to go ahead and turn those functions on. I will go ahead and show you guys that. Mine I already coded, so as you can see, I've got light here, and I'll turn this light off so that you guys can take a look here. And as you can see, the LED puddle light turns on. Okay, so now that we have the front doors completely installed as well as coated, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to install the rear doors. What I would recommend that you do is pause the video in a little bit, as I'm going to put the coding on the video, so that way you guys can code the car prior to installing the lights, so that way when you hook up the lights, you'll be able to test the lighting system. Do remember, you do need to cycle your door, and what I mean by that is close the door and open it once you have everything installed as well as coded. That way the lights will turn on. So let's go ahead and get started on working on the rear doors. Now that we have the door panel apart and separated from the car, I can show you guys a little bit of what you need to do. So taking a look at the nomenclature of the door, you have the emergency light, which is right here. And then on the underside, you see that I have pre-installed my Puddle LED. Now once again, these LEDs are from Oznium.com, and they've worked really well for all of my needs. So let's go ahead and take a look here. What I essentially did was I went ahead and drilled a 3/8 inch hole through here, wired the light, and put the LED through here. From there, I already went ahead and attached the emergency light here, and it's essentially just unclipping it from here. Now these bulbs are halogen. I left the halogen in because I noticed that it actually colors or displays the emergency light a little better as opposed to one of the LEDs that I tried to put in who essentially just lit up this portion, and I didn't like how it showed out. I wanted to focus in on the plug itself. Now I don't know if you guys can see, but this is the back plug. Again, I have pre-wired a couple of my existing lights in here. This is the posi tap that I use to tap into the brown wire, which is ground. And this cable here just goes right to my puddle light or emergency light, and the puddle light is going this way out there. Now, if you take a look at this this clip here, there's going to be a top row and a bottom row. The brown plug here is going to be number 13. The one to the left of it is going to be 12. 13 is ground. 12 is actually going to be power to the puddle lights and the emergency lights that are activated on the Vagcom system. Now, the cables that I bought that work for the front doors are not a direct fit for the rear doors. So what I had to do here is I essentially stripped a good inch worth of wiring. I folded it in half, and from there I'm going to go ahead and put it into slot number 12. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is that number 12 I'm going to zip tie to the cable here to make sure that it stays in there. So now if I have done things correctly, we should have it all connected out. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my wires are neatly set up. Now I want to slide it over just so you guys can kind of see the LED puddle light down here. I'm going to go ahead and secure it. Using some needle nose, we'll tighten it up a little bit more. Now it's nice and secure. Now I'll go ahead and put back the door. I put the door panel on and made the connections. Here's my emergency light, and as you can tell, I've got my LED puddle light down here. Go ahead and turn the light back on. Installation of the door is essentially just the opposite or reverse order. I went ahead and made sure that the door panel little edge is sitting on the door's channel itself so that it goes in, it'll kind of swing out. Go ahead and just lightly tap on here. And you'll hear the area snap into place and the door is nice and secure. So from here, 1, 2, 3 bolts. You want to go ahead and screw those in, pop back on your speaker grille this way, and you have successfully completed your emergency and puddle light LED installation. This is going to be the front door. Puddle lights active and emergency lights active. Here is the rear door. Emergency lights active, puddle lights active. And as you can tell, it really adds a nice touch to it when you're stepping out of the vehicle.